Okay, hi, welcome to What the Fuckity, your new favorite Reddit channel. This is my first try at this, and I've been wanting to make videos like this for a while because I watch so many Reddit videos and I love them. So, today we are covering one of my favorite subreddits, which is entitled Parents. I think this is going to be a shorter video, but I honestly don't know. So let's get into this. Our first story. Entitled Mother refuses to wait 5 minutes and tries to get me fired. Note, this is an old story from December. Also, I wrote this on my phone, so sorry if the formatting is weird. I work in a preschool, and after our Christmas program, I was one of the people in charge of getting the 40 or so kids off the stage and back down to the classrooms. If you've ever met a preschooler, you'd know they do everything at their own pace, and when you want them to be fast, they're usually slow. Because of this, most of the parents were waiting outside of the classroom for us by the time we were funneling kids through the door. One of the kids saw his mom and tried to run to her, but I asked him to come back and wait for his teacher. I never grabbed him or pulled at him, just simply told him he had to sit down on the rug before he was released. Nobody else had a problem with this, except for his mom. She asked when we'd be releasing the kids, and I explained that I had to wait for the head teachers to come down, as I don't know who we are allowed to release kids to. I only work in the afternoon, so I only know the afternoon parents. Entitled Mother rolled her eyes at me, but I just ignored it. I'm used to dealing with adults that act more childish than their preschoolers. Once all the preschoolers are in the room, we close the door and wait for the head teachers. About a minute later, they are down and ready, and they have gifts to pass out to everyone. Because I was in charge of drinks and cookies for after the program, I left to go up to the cafe. When I left, Entitled Mother shouts at me that she needs her child released to her. I explain, again, that I don't release children, and that it will be literal seconds until they will be released to her. I don't really wait for a response. I had to practically run to the cafe to get there in time, and rush off. Later, I was passing out water and lemonade to the preschoolers and parents when I see Entitled Mother talking to my boss. I move closer to eavesdrop, knowing it's going to be about me. It wasn't very hard to hear what they were saying, as Entitled Mother was practically yelling. She retells the story, changing details to fit her narrative. Instead of telling her child to come into the classroom, she said I forcefully grabbed him, and instead of telling her I can't release children, she told my boss I wouldn't release to her because I told her she looked suspicious. My boss, being amazing, just said that didn't happen. She told me later that the other teacher's aide helping me get kids into the classroom already told her what happened, so she was prepared for Entitled Mother to say something. Entitled Mother demands that I am fired immediately. My boss says no and walks off, leaving Entitled Mother steaming from her ears. Entitled Mother is one of the morning parents, so I never see her, but my boss says sometimes she still brings it up. This is quite ridiculous. And one of the things that I find most ridiculous about entitled parents is the fact that they don't seem to understand how to listen to and comprehend very basic statements. This person made it very clear that she just had to wait a minute and then she'd get her kid back, but instead twisted it into this whole big thing when it really didn't need to be. Our next story, entitled Aunt Locks Our House because she wants to sell it. So people really wanted to know the other story about my aunt, LOL. So backstory for those who haven't read the last one. I lived in my grandparents' house for 10 years. Both grandparents are dead, and there is no will, so not sure what to do with the house. But Grandma's wish before dying was not to sell the house. About my aunt. She's married to her husband, who has business abroad, and has one boy of my age. He's a really sweet kid, and I love him to death. But she sent him to boarding school for character development. She's an alcoholic, hates my father, and has no morale. So now over to the actual story. Now when we were in the house, we had everything bad happen to us. Sorry, I'm sick. We lost money. My dad got his leg crushed under a bus. He also got cancer. I got depression and anxiety, and my dad lost his job, and etc., etc. So basically, a bad omen. We moved about a year ago, and I kid you not, our life instantly became perfect. Like, amazing. See, the only reason we had to make trips back and forth in that house was because our old house was 220 square yards, and our current home is 110 square yards, so we couldn't fit all of our furniture in it. And the house is just abandoned and dusty and shit, LOL. So my grandma died a few weeks ago, and after her death, my aunt, who is very hungry for money, has been trying to get my other psycho aunt convinced to sell the house, but they won't have a home after that, so she denies. Now, that woman at least wants to sell our floor. The house has a great value, so she really wants to get the money from it. Her husband returned from Thailand, where he lives, to attend the Chautha? Something done to pay final respects on the 4th day after the death. Now, we didn't go home, so we have no idea what the fuck went on there, but my psycho aunt, who was kind of concerned, told us that the aunt came with her husband and he put locks on our house, hence stopping us from doing anything in it. We had to get new stuff for our home that we're going to move into in May, and we wanted to keep those things in that house because we have no space where we're living. Now, my aunt told my mom about this when we went there to accept the delivery, but mom and dad went to a locked house. She was restricting us from getting our personal property. There are books, tables, cabinets, almiras, and whatnot in that house. Now we can't get any of it just because that bitch thinks she's entitled to that house and our stuff. Don't make a communism joke, lol. My mom's relatives, except my grandma and grandpa, hate my dad for some reason. They accused him of killing my grandpa when it was my aunt who was responsible for it. It's a long story. They accused my dad of being a terrorist. Now let me tell you what. My dad is the sweetest human being I know. He is there to protect us. He handles whatever insults my mom's relatives throw at him. He works really hard for us. He gives us every luxury, even in dire times and whatnot. I don't know why they hate him. He's such a nice man. I literally had to protect him at my grandma's funeral so that no one would say anything to him, and I was ready to fight if anyone did. Anyway, my dad didn't get angry or anything, but simply said this: when we'll be able to move out, we'll take everything and never come back again. Everyone agreed. Now, we had totally let this go because we know how crazy of a person that woman and her husband are, but about a week ago, my mom received a call. My friend usually called at this time, so I thought it would be her, but it was the aunt. She was drunk and was saying some senseless shit. Here's how the convo went. Aunt, I've filed a police report against you, and you'll get arrested if you try to break the locks. Me. That doesn't make any sense. We have just as much of a right as you do over that house. Aunt, you and your husband will not come near that house, and stop telling, Aunt 2, crazy stories about not selling the house. Me realizes that she thinks I'm my mom. We are not saying anything to her. You're insane. Aunt, and your husband, I will make him pay and he will suffer. At this point, I have had enough and just want to make her shut up. I have no respect for her now, and I just went off. I have never ever said anything bad to her before, but yeah. Me. Okay, now I can't take it. If you ever call here again, you will face consequences. You are no longer welcome to call here, and I will straight up block you. So here's the thing. My sister is the kind of person who has had to shut this woman up a lot of times, so she thought I was her. My sister's 23. Aunt, sister's name, you motherfucker, give the phone to mom's name. This instant. She is my sister, and I have a right to talk to her. Me, I'm Sweet Satan Love, OP's username. You just swore at a child. Aunt starts stuttering. No, you're lying. You can't be Sweet Satan Love. I know it's not. So she has a very sensitive ego, and the thought of being told off by a child just broke her, lol. Me, it is me. And now don't ever call us again, you drunk degenerate. Bye. I disconnected the call and blocked her. I don't know what scene will be created once we break the locks, but my mom and dad were proud of me for what I did. The fact that I was the one who said all this broke her completely. Dad was really angry that she swore at me and said I did good by not stooping to her level. Also, I was talking in front of my mom, and even though she knows I swear, she's never heard me do it, and I don't want to scar her, lol. The sound of her sweet child swearing will break her. Anyway, this was my story, and I have more about entitled parents around me. I was the good child, so a lot of entitled parents took advantage of that. Let me know if you want to read more. See ya. This story is absolutely nuts. My family is currently dealing with a bunch of issues regarding a will. My mom's aunt wants to sell a piece of property that was left to her and her two siblings. Now, one of her siblings, which is my grandmother, has also passed away, and my mom has inherited, my mom and uncle have inherited her estate, so now they're trying to settle it with my great aunt and great uncle, and it's a whole situation, so I know how crazy things can be when it's not clear what to do with things, especially when there's a money-hungry person amongst that group. I've also had to deal with an alcoholic family member, so I know how crazy alcoholics, just dealing with an alcoholic can be when they are drunk and they make rash decisions and they make phone calls like this. Specifically, I had to deal with a few nasty emails from an alcoholic family member, quite similar to how this all played out. Our next story. Entitled mother assaults me and holds me underwater for getting her hair wet. This one's pretty short, but it's crazy. Sorry for any bad formatting on mobile. So to start off with the story, me, my dad, soon-to-be stepmom, and stepbrother went on a trip to a popular diamond mine in Arkansas, where visitors can search for diamonds when I was 6. We stayed in a hotel not far from the mine that had a very big pool area. Me and my stepmother wanted to stay at the pool, while my dad and stepbrother hung out at the mine. That's why I didn't give my father or stepbrother name tags, since they're not a part of the encounter. Me and stepmother were at the pool for maybe 30 minutes until a wild, entitled parent appeared. To be honest, she didn't look like your typical Karen. She didn't have the "can I speak to your manager" haircut or anything like that, but she did have the freaking attitude. She also had her daughter with her, who looked to be about 13, who was very nice. NG, nice girl. Please keep in mind that entitled mother got completely submerged in the pool. Her hair was soaked, as it's important to the story. During our time at the pool, the girl lent me her water gun, the kind you push the bottom to squeeze the water out. Entitled mother sees this and scoffs. "Hey kid." Me. "Yeah?" Entitled mother, "If you shoot me with that and get water in my hair, I'll beat the shit out of you and drown you. She says this to a 6-year-old kid when she already has her hair wet. Nice girl looks at her mother with a worried look and tells her how mean that was. I tell her I won't and go back to playing with the water gun. Later, nice girl comes by and offers to play with me, I guess as an apology for her mother's attitude. While me and nice girl were playing, I ended up shooting entitled mother in the face by accident, due to having the aim of a stormtrooper with Parkinson's. Not gonna lie, I was happy I did because I was 6 and wanted to get back at her, even though in hindsight, that it was very petty. Turns out, entitled mothers are fast when they're in the water, and I didn't even have time to get away before she grabbed me by the throat and pushed me underwater and held me there for 30 seconds or more. When she finally let me come up, she got in my face and screamed how I got her hair wet and how I'm such a piece of shit. It scared the crap out of me, and when she told me to get out of the pool, I got out and didn't even think about getting in any other time that day. Immediately afterward, stepmom started yelling at entitled mother, threatening her that if she ever laid a finger on me again, there will be hell to pay. Now, my stepmom is a very introverted person and very sweet, but when she gets mad, she gets mad. I can tell that entitled mother was intimidated by stepmom and left the pool shortly afterward. We didn't see entitled mother for the rest of the trip, thank God. First of all, I think the story is nuts. I think it was good of the stepmother to tell her off, but they definitely could have pressed assault charges, and potentially she could have been charged with attempted murder because she did threaten to drown the kid. This is our last one, entitled parent at a 4-H event. Sorry, this is kind of long. So a little backstory. I'm a part of 4-H, which if you don't know, is like Boy and Girl Scouts with more projects, events, etc. I'm also considered weird, as I am Christian and bi. I'm also a feminist, equal rights, not women are better than men, and pro-choice. The only problem is when I say I'm a Christian, most people immediately start asking things like, oh, you hate gays, and you hate atheists, and things like that. It really bothers me, as a lot of my friends are atheists and or Wiccan. I even have a satanic friend. I think they mean Satanist friend. This event happened at one of the 4-H camps I attended. Cast, me, obviously, entitled mother, my friend, just in the background. So I was sitting in the waiting area, waiting for an event to start. It was some sort of speaker. I was talking with my friend about religion, not just talking, not trying to convert. One of the parent supervisors overheard us, and the conversation was kind of like this. This was about 4 years ago, so I don't remember exactly. You aren't supposed to talk about that. You could offend someone. Me, we're just talking. Entitled mother, but it's about religion, that's not allowed. 4-H doesn't like when people talk about religion or politics, but we were both okay about the topic, so we know we have different beliefs and respect that. Me, I'm not shouting out my beliefs, we're just comparing our religions and what is similar. It was a Satanist friend, and we just wanted to compare what we believe. Entitled mother who overheard that I was a Christian and that my friend was not. No, you are forcing your religion on them. Me, my friend starts chuckling. Me, I'm not. This is a pretty normal conversation for us. Entitled mother, who I assume is an atheist based on this reaction. No, you're trying to conform them to your cultist ways. My friend, almost losing it at the ridiculousness. Ma'am, please, we're just trying to have a conversation. My friend is also wearing a rainbow pin. Entitled mother, no, she's, me, is trying to convert you. Looks at me. Why can't you just leave strangers alone? Me, who's known this friend for 8 years now. Ma'am, really, we're just trying to pass the time. Please leave us alone. Entitled mother, no, you're a cultist and you hate gays. My friend, trying so hard not to laugh. Me, ma'am, I do not hate gays. In fact, most of my friends are a part of the LGBT community. Entitled mother, in a very condescending tone. Well, doesn't the Bible say that being gay is a sin? Me, I have not found a verse like that, but... Entitled mother, even more condescending, almost mocking. Yes, it does. Man shall not lay with man. Isn't that in your Bible? Me, who actually looked that up. Actually, the literal translation says man shall not lay with boy, talking about pedophilia. Furthermore, the Bible also says to love your neighbor as yourself, which is the greatest commandment. My friend absolutely loses it at this point and almost falls out of their chair. Entitled mother looks completely shocked. The doors for the event have opened at this point. Me, now if you'll excuse us, we have to go find our seats. Me and my friend stand up at this point, laughing, and go find our seats. Anytime after that, whenever we saw that parent, she gave me the dirtiest look ever. It was very satisfying. So, a few things. One, the entitled parent did, I guess, make a good point that they're not actually supposed to be talking about religion there, but they both clearly consent to the conversation, and no one was being hurt or in trouble, so she should have just minded her own business. It also, as a person in the LGBT community, makes me really happy to see Christian people who are not homophobes, who are good people. Obviously, a lot of them are, but the more vocal ones tend to be the homophobic ones, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's gross. It makes me uncomfortable, and it, I feel like, just gives the nice people who are religious sort of a bad rap, because the vocal ones are really homophobic. So it makes me happy to see stories where people are Christian and part of the LGBT community, or just good people and not homophobic, because she was right, and it does say to, love your neighbor in the Bible, so I think that's a good thing. Also, this entitled mother was crazy. She really had no business in this conversation. We're trying to split this up, and she really had no business trying to get up in someone else's religion. Like, I don't know that much about Christianity, so I would never get up in there and be like, doesn't your Bible say this? Because I know I don't know what I'm talking about. And she clearly doesn't have the self-awareness to know that she doesn't know what she's talking about either. Alright, so this was longer than I thought it was going to be. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, because I'm going to be making more Reddit videos. Leave a like, leave a comment, all that other stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.